All right, welcome to episode 50 of the Ridiculously Lame Wrestling Show. I am Robert Lentini, and we are going to be going over the November 18th episode of WWE RAW. It was a tape show. I really hate tape shows. You could hear the fake crowd noises added in the backstage segments, a bunch of stuff that annoyed me during tonight's show, but there was also a lot of great stuff, beginning with the opening segment. Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez come down to the ring. They cut a heel promo. They're interrupted by Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton, and Candice LeRae. LeRae's still trying to capture Nia Jax's attention from Stratton. Something's going on with that storyline there. But they interrupt, and Jax just is like, I don't really give a shit about Morgan and Rodriguez. It was just so weird. They just fought for the Crown Jewel Championship at the Premium Live event, and a couple weeks ago in Saudi Arabia. Now they're like working together. Just kind of a poorly thought out storyline there. But eventually Jax says, I don't really care for Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair. They come down to the ring. Naomi joins them. Io Sky shows up. And then all of a sudden Rhea Ripley returns. She's suffered a broken orbital bone last month. She's already back. She's got the face mask on. She looks just menacing. She looks like a monster. She marches to the ring, just shouts WarGames, and they brawl. This brawl goes on for a minute. Eventually it's separated, but that's the WarGames match. So on November 30th, it's going to be Rhea Ripley, Io Sky, Bianca Belair, Jade Cargill, and Naomi versus Candice LeRae, Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton, Raquel Rodriguez, and Liv Morgan. I'm still anticipating Tiffany Stratton to cash in her Money in the Bank. And one of these days, why not in the WarGames match, just right in the middle of it? Nia Jax gets taken out by the opposite team. Maybe Stratton cashes in at Survivor Series and flips the double birds to LeRae and Jax and walks out and betrays her team, leading to Rhea Ripley and the babyfaces winning. We'll get to that when I do my predictions video next week. But that's an early prediction for you. That's what I want to see. I want to see Tiffany Stratton screw over Jax during this match, cost her whole team the WarGames match, and walk out with the WWE Women's Championship. Even if she loses the match, it's just not giving a shit because she's walking out as champion and likely as a babyface. That's what I would. That's what I really want to see. But who knows? But there had to be a Women's WarGames match on this card. This one kind of feels cobbled together, but I'm excited Rhea Ripley's back. The show is much better with her on it. A mixed tag team match happened tonight between American Made and Latino World Order. It was Chad Gable and Ivy Nile versus Rey Mysterio and Zelina Vega. Who do you think won this match? Obviously, it wasn't American Made. They are a total jobber team. I do not understand what they are doing with them, but I will say it was a cool moment during this match. Zelina Vega just springboarded off of Rey Mysterio into a Hurricane Rana or a Frankensteiner on Chad Gable. That was really cool. But other than that, Rey Mysterio hits a 619 and splash on Chad Gable to win. Chad Gable cost Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee the shot to become the number one contenders a few weeks ago. It went to the War Raiders. And Dragon Lee's just fallen off the face of the earth. But this match here, it just proves that American Made are just jobbers. Chad Gable has gone from this white hot angle with Gunther, this holy shit, what is this angle with Otis? Let's capitalize on this. Oh, we're not going to do anything with it. We're going to have Chad Gable be sacrificed to the Wyatt Sicks, and now he's leading a faction that sucks. Alpha Academy was more successful than American Made. And then after the match, Gable slaps Julius Creed in the face. Brutus Creed starts shoving his brother. They get all fired up and pose in the ring. They lost the match, and they didn't even get an attack after the match like the Judgment Day. We'll get to that later, to have a reason to pose. They just lost, and Gable shouted at his stablemates and posed. I guess they're going to get a push soon. I saw a few people saying that online after. I would hope. They got to do something with them or just disband the team. It's a joke. So the American Made has been terrible so far. I did not expect to be enjoying The Miz and Final Testament storyline, their rivalry against the Wyatt Sicks so much. I'll go over both of these promos we got tonight. The Miz and Karrion Kross cut an electric promo tonight. I love this promo. They're in this room, speaking all serious. You can see the Miz behind Kross posing while Kross speaks and vice versa. And the Miz brings up, this could be my way into the Marine 6, or the Marine 7, I'm sorry. I had to Google that. I can't believe they made 6 Marine movies, and I had no idea Ted DiBiase Jr. was in the second one as the star. I think he's going to prison now for welfare fraud or something like that. But yeah, I had no idea they made 6 the Marine movies. I saw the first one in the theaters. and I thought it sucked with John Cena. So I don't understand why they needed to make 6 of them, but I love the Miz just shoving that into this storyline. Let's make the Marines 7. The Miz is great as a heel. But then Uncle Howdy later on the show, he cuts a promo. He looked exactly like Bray Wyatt. I'll put the image up next to me somewhere. He looked exactly like Bray Wyatt during this promo, this VHS vignette. He said, I never wanted this to happen. I offered you salvation to spare you from the pit, whatever the hell that means. Hell, I guess. But, Bo Dallas is just going to, we'll see where this goes. He's going to bring hell to the Miz, and the Final Testament essentially was this promo. But again, I did not think I would be loving this storyline so much. We get the Miz kidnapped and returned. The logic gap in that is so ridiculous, just returned. Nothing happened. Adam Pearce never looked into it, whatever. But I just forgive it all because this storyline is so absurd. And I just think Karrion Kross is just doing his best work in WWE right now with his leadership as the Final Testament, his character. He's such an evil prick, but then he'll drop a line and you'll be like, oh, that's a good point, actually. Like, he's just killing it. And the Final Testament, I don't know if they're ever going to go anywhere. I don't know if the storyline is going to lead to anything positive for Karrion Kross and The Miz. I feel like they're both going to get fed to the Wyatt Sicks. But if I was if I were Triple H, hopefully he is noticing what he has here with the Final Testament and Karrion Kross. I think he does. Then they could really build this faction up. They spent the first 6-7 months of their run tearing him down. Now they're building him up now, I hope. But hopefully someone's realizing backstage how great Karrion Kross is right now. I am. And I've crapped on the guy a ton, with his horrible debut against Jeff Hardy. They taken Scarlett away from his entrance. They ruined him. But in this role, he's succeeding. And I think he could keep doing this. Don't screw it up, please. Another storyline I'm interested in, but now I'm kind of frustrated by is Gunther and Damian Priest. More importantly, I guess, to me, not more importantly in the grand scheme of things, Damian Priest is fighting for the title at Survivor Series. But to me, how I watch wrestling, I'm more interested in what's going on with Ludwig Kaiser and Gunther. We got another weird segment with them talking backstage tonight, and then Kaiser took action later on. But backstage, Gunther and Kaiser are having a conversation. Gunther's like, look, stop trying to speak for me. Be your own man. You know what you're capable of, and go after it and chase it. Be your own man. It was almost like a pump-up speech because he's been berating Kaiser for the past few weeks just for speaking for him, for questioning Cody Rhodes, and it's total character change going on for Gunther, almost like a crisis going on for Gunther right now. But Ludwig Kaiser says thank you, or danke, and walks away. Gunther then turns around and sees Damian Priest, the only person in the vicinity, sitting at a table signing autographs. He attacks him from behind. He locks in a guillotine choke or a sleeper hold. Priest easily gets out of it and levels Gunther, and it says, in the ring you may be a general, but on the streets I'm a king. Look, I love Damian Priest. I want him to be pushed. I felt like he lost a lot of his aura after he lost the World Heavyweight Championship to Gunther at SummerSlam. But why are we going in this crazy route here where we're making Gunther look like a bumbling buffoon? All of a sudden, the guy can't get the upper hand on somebody when he attacks from behind, the reigning World Heavyweight Champion that should be an unbeatable, unstoppable force, but now we're presenting him as this vulnerable, unsure tweener heel. He's respectful to Damian Priest on some nights, but he's trying to attack him from behind tonight. I don't get what the deal is. It's like he's questioning himself. I guess that's the storyline, but I don't understand why we're doing that to Gunther. There's nothing to question about Gunther. He's one of the best wrestlers on the planet. I don't get what they're doing. I guess Gunther could come out of this as a babyface, and maybe Kaiser is the one to go against him. That's the long route to WrestleMania here. I have no idea why they're tinkering with Gunther's character like this to make him look like a weakling, like a bumbling idiot, like I sometimes sound like. I don't understand why. I don't get it. But I'm still gonna be interested in Damian Priest versus Gunther at Survivor Series. I feel like it's a given that Gunther should win that match, but they're presenting him like he can't beat Akira Tozawa at the moment. So I mentioned that Ludwig Kaiser took action. He got involved in the Intercontinental Championship match between Bron Breakker and Sheamus. I was looking forward to this match. And besides the finish, which, Ludwig Kaiser interfered and it ended it in a DQ, this match ruled. It was 15 minutes of Bron Breakker and Sheamus kicking the shit out of each other. I don't know how you couldn't enjoy it. White noise off the top rope. Breakker's hitting sentons off the top rope onto Sheamus on the outside. Bron Breakker is like a cruiserweight, a heavyweight. He's just every type of wrestler wrapped into one, and he's getting better by the week, by the month at promos. And so the future is incredibly bright for Breakker. There was no reason for them to take the Intercontinental title off of Breakker tonight, but with Kaiser's interference, he leveled Breakker with a clothesline, drop kicked Sheamus into the steel steps. Sheamus has defeated Kaiser a couple times now. I'm thinking maybe Bron Breakker, Sheamus, and Ludwig Kaiser, triple threat match at Survivor Series. Why not? Or whatever. Or Saturday night's main event. Whatever 40,000 shows they have coming up, that could headline or be a big match on one of them. But just Sheamus can. I don't know how old Sheamus is. He moves like he's 30 still. I've always been a fan of Sheamus. Is just a powerhouse. It's not plotting. It's just a physical style that I enjoy. And Breaker's like a freak athlete that I haven't seen in a long time in the wrestling business. Just insane what he can do. And Ludwig Kaiser, I think, has the potential to be a huge star. He has the look. He can talk. The sky's the limit for Kaiser. They have so much talent, and if Kaiser's going to be going after the IC title and maybe he fails and has another falling out with Gunther, there's a bunch of ways to go here, but I'm interested in all of them. But the only thing I just can't comprehend is what they're doing with Gunther. So Finn Balor's still jealous of Dominic Mysterio and angry about Damian Priest getting a world title shot, so he's talking to Carlito and Dominic Mysterio before the match against the War Raiders. Balor and just offered that up last week, just suggested that match. And Mysterio said they'd do it. And so they had the War Raiders versus Dominic Mysterio and Carlito tonight before the match. Finn Balor's just giving them shit, just saying, I'd go after their neck, but it might just make them angry and they'll demolish you even more. So he's just totally not confident in Dominic Mysterio, calling, his big star Dominic Mysterio here, just totally shitting on Dirty Dom. And the War Raiders control this match pretty much throughout. They isolated Carlito for the first 5 minutes. He couldn't get a tag. Dom finally hit a cheap shot to tag in. He got in a few moves, then got his ass kicked too. War Raiders hit a War Machine on Carlito that looked awesome. It was Eric lifts him up in the electric chair, and Ivar does a springboard clothesline off the second rope. Great move, and that was the pinfall victory. So, War Raiders demolished the Judgment Day, but after the match, Finn Balor and JD McDonough attack. They go after the neck of Eric and Ivar. Eric's missed the past year and a half due to a neck injury, so it makes sense that for strategy-wise, why you'd want to do that. And Ivar just getting stem cell treatments left and right the past few months. They both have neck issues, so it's a good strategy. And, the Judgment Day beat down the War Raiders after the match and posed. Unlike American Made, who also lost the match tonight, the Judgment Day had a reason to pose. They just beat the shit out of their opponents after the match. American Made just beat the shit out of each other, essentially, and then posed. The Judgment Day at least accomplished something tonight. Just a quick Dakota Kai vignette tonight, basically saying that she was questioning herself during her injury, wondering if she still had what it takes, but she's back to prove everyone wrong or right, whatever, and she wants to become champion. Look, Dakota Kai as a singles champion could happen if she stays healthy. She's very talented. She's got a lot of fans. She just can't stay healthy. So I don't know how you put a singles title on somebody who can't stay healthy. You could do it a women's tag title in Damage Control because they can alternate if you get hurt, but she has to stay healthy for them to want to, put that commitment on her. But she could be a champion someday. I don't know if she's in the women's U.S. title tournament. I think that's just SmackDown exclusive. I'm not sure, but we'll see. There's also a vignette for Lyra Valkyria. She's talking about, making it to the finals of the Queen of the Ring in May. That's another one that they just didn't capitalize on that momentum. She made it to the finals of the Queen of the Ring, lost to Nia Jax, and then just slowly is just falling down. And she was hanging out with Caden Carter and Katana Chance for a while. Just Yeah, but we'll see about Dakota Kai. I think she could be a champion, but she just has to stay healthy. Another storyline I'm really enjoying is the New Day's implosion on Raw. We got another hint about that tonight. Kofi Kingston's talking to Otis and Akira Tozawa and Maxine Dupree, Alpha Academy. I don't know what the hell the free Otis t-shirt is. He's still wearing it. I got to figure out what that means, what he wants to be freed from. But he's talking, Otis and Kofi Kingston start talking. They're talking about the 10-year anniversary show for the New Day that's coming up soon. I'm not sure when that is yet. I don't think they've announced the date when that's going to happen yet. But they're going to be celebrating the New Day throughout the entire show on an upcoming episode of Raw. I bet, that's when they're going to finally separate Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston. Someone's going to screw each other over. I bet that's when it's going to happen. But tonight, Xavier Woods interrupts the conversation with Kofi Kingston and Otis. And he said, look, we've been a tag team for 10 years. The past few weeks, all we've been doing is fighting. I can't get what Karrion Kross said out of my head. And Kofi's like, what the hell are you talking about? Why are you thinking about Karrion Kross? He said, that everybody knows the New Day is already dead besides us. Something along those lines. Like, we're the last to find out that we're no longer popular. And, they start arguing again. Otis goes to separate them, goes to give them some advice, and Woods hilariously cuts him off and said, what the hell would you know about anything? We're the greatest tag team of all time. You got left behind by Chad Gable. Why are you going to give us advice? Next week, it's going to be me and Kofi versus Otis and Akira Tozawa, and a win next week, they'll put us back on track. And he slapped Kofi in the chest like he's pumped up, and Kofi's like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? I just love this storyline, and they're obviously going to break up unless Big E shows up. That's the only thing that could save the New Day to me is Big E returning. But we'll see. We'll see on that anniversary show. I'm expecting a festival of friendship type of event where Woods smashes Kofi Kingston through some glass window or something crazy is going to happen. But, yeah, I'm looking forward to the New Day breaking up. I'm ready to see them break the New Day up unless, again, Big E returns. But I'm not holding out hope for that. Now we get to the main event. It's Bronson Reed versus Seth Rollins. These two stars clashed at Crown Jewel. Seth Rollins picked up the win. I didn't like that decision. But then again, they flashed a graphic that Seth Rollins is the only person to pin Bronson Reed since July. So obviously, Bronson Reed's not losing too many matches. I mean, he lost the last Monster Standing match. It's a clever little detail to leave out, but never mind. Bronson Reed versus Seth Rollins at Crown Jewel was a good match. Seth Rollins won. Tonight's match was also very good, but the result was much different. Right before the bell, the Bloodline shows up. Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, Jacob Fatu. Solo Sikoa was not there. So Sami Zayn and the Usos rush the ring. They brawl through the crowd. Solo Sikoa shows up at the end of this match. The Rollins is about to hit a stomp, I think, off the top rope. He's standing on the top turnbuckle. Solo Sikoa shows up in a disguise. He gets up on the announce table, starts dancing around, laughing. And Seth Rollins is looking at him like, what the hell are you doing here? Bronson Reed capitalizes. Death Valley Driver. Senton, Tsunami Splash, 1, 2, 3, good night. And he poses with Sikoa after the match. This is funny because this was filmed last week before Bronson Reed joined the Bloodline. So if you're just sitting last week, the crowd was like, why is Solo Sikoa helping Bronson Reed? It makes perfect sense now. But for the taped crowd, they must have been like, wow, that's a weird angle all of a sudden. Bronson Reed in the Bloodline. Makes perfect sense now. But yeah. That was overall, though, very solid episode of Raw. Seth Rollins also once again declined Sami Zayn, the Usos, and Roman Reigns' offer. He said, I'll never work with Roman Reigns. Under no circumstances will I ever work with Roman Reigns. He's a tyrant, and you guys just, you're being used and you just don't realize it. But I think after tonight, with Solo Sikoa screwing him over, maybe he'll agree to. Sami Zayn said, just one more time, I'm asking you, just work with us one more time. Help the Bloodline one more time at WarGames. Maybe after tonight, Seth Rollins says, you know what, if Solo Sikoa is going to start getting involved in my business, then screw it. I will join the Bloodline, the original Bloodline, for one night at WarGames. We'll see. It makes sense. I don't even know if CM Punk's going to be there or competing. I don't know who the fifth member of that Bloodline could be with Roman Reigns. The only reason I say CM Punk is because Paul Heyman used to be his manager, and maybe he calls him. But Roman Reigns couldn't get in touch with Paul Heyman this past Friday night, so CM Punk, Brock Lesnar are the names I was thinking of. They're out. I would have preferred it just 4v4, but if you're going to have two men in it, might as well be Bronson Reed and Seth Rollins, because they've proven time and time again the past few weeks that they can go in the ring together. They have chemistry because tonight's match was excellent. And the right man won. Bronson Reed finally picked up a big win. After all this chaos he's caused, he finally gets a big win, and he looked great in the Bloodline. I hope they keep him in that faction after after WarGames, and he moves over to SmackDown. Why not? Go after the United States Championship, maybe go after the WWE Championship sometime, or the Undisputed WWE Championship. But yeah, this was an overall solid episode of Raw. Not bad for a tape show, but still, I hate the tape shows. We got a few more of those coming up. I cannot wait till Netflix, January 6th, 2025, live. It's going to be 3 hours. Same with SmackDown, apparently, but I'm here for it because this show, even on a down episode of Raw, it was still entertaining. But that is it for this episode of the Ridiculously Lame Wrestling Show. Thank you so much for watching. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so. We'll catch you guys on the next episode.